Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. A lot of you are in these affected areas. We're going to particularly be focusing in on PJM, which is a major interconnect along the eastern seaboard, as well as the from basically Illinois all the way over to New York City, and a little bit up from that into upstate New York, down to North Carolina and Tennessee. The PJM Interconnect is critical, and of course it is indicative of what's happening with the energy grid across the eastern United States and central. Texas has issued alerts for their areas as well. They are in emergency mode as well. PJM just issued this alert, this cold weather alert, just dropped about 15-20 minutes ago from the shooting of this video. A cold weather alert has been issued for tomorrow, basically 7 a.m. through 11 p.m. tomorrow. They issue these 1 day in advance to kind of get everyone on the same page, all the different utilities and such. Per M13, members are expected to perform the following: transmission and generator dispatchers, review plans to determine if any maintenance/testing scheduled or being performed on any monitoring, control, transmission, generating equipment can be deferred or canceled. So basically anything that's under maintenance, stop maintenance right now, get all the stuff back online because we need this right now. Make sure that can be deferred or canceled. Gen dispatchers, review and update unit parameters in markets gateway through the cold weather alert period, paying particular attention to accurate startup and notification. Min-max runtime, so basically this is all, the generators need to all be synced. As demand comes online, there needs to be generating capacity coming online. So they are just making sure that everyone's kind of on the same pages with these things. Submit alternative fuel capability and resource limitations. They all have to be like, you need to let us know if you're not going to be able to hold up your generating capacity right now. We need to know this before it happens. Review fuel supply delivery schedules for greater than normal operation of units. So basically you guys all need to be overclocking your units. You need to be running all your generating capacities more than average, and so therefore you need to make sure you're ordering enough fuel and getting it to your location. Provide PJM with estimate of time needed to return any unit that's on planned outage. So anything that is on is down because it's being maintained, you need to tell us how fast you can get the stuff back online because we need it online yesterday. This early return time should be updated in the eDART and will not be affect planned outage estimated end date. Dual fuel units confirm equipment is functional and amount of alternative fuel available. Update the PLS schedule parameters. Last night, they issued this edict, a maximum generation emergency load management alert. A maximum generation emergency load alert and an EEA1 have been issued for 12/25, so Christmas Day. Maximum generation alert has been called into the operating capacity. Basically, as it says, generation dispatchers should provide PJM with an estimate of the amount of time they need to return to service all generators on a planned outage. Anything that's offline needs to be brought back online immediately. We're seeing pricing out there for electricity. New York City area as well as Delaware are still extremely high. Down into Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, I'm seeing prices at $100 to $150 per megawatt hour in a lot of Virginia all the way out to Indiana, all of Ohio, most of Kentucky, West Virginia. Some of Pennsylvania is down to $71 to $100 per megawatt hour, but once you start going east of central Pennsylvania towards Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, you're looking at $150 to $200 per megawatt hour. That is Those prices are spiking, and of course in New England, I'm not looking at the prices here of New England for megawatt hour. The prices there are more critical. Is the load on the grid still extreme right now? The answer is yes. We're seeing on the graphs that wind power is dropping off and will continue to drop off until about noon tomorrow. That is the forecast. It's gonna drop. It's currently at about 8,000 megawatt hours. 8,000 megawatt hours. I'm sorry, and it will be dropping to about 3.5 to 4 by midday tomorrow. And it looks like it's gonna potentially kind of level off and kind of keep dropping towards the end of the day. Solar, of course, is going to drop off pretty fast as it gets dark out there. All this kind of pointing to there's an extreme load on the grid in PJM, and we're hearing out of Texas as well. There's emergency alerts there. We're hearing Duke Energy down in the Carolinas is in emergency mode down there too. We're not hearing reports of load shedding happening right now, but as nightfall is coming and is happening right now, I'm expecting to hear those reports of load shedding happening, starting to happen again tonight. But everyone needs to be prepared for this. Right now, the system is operational in the United States. The power grid is operational, and what you can expect is if your power goes out due to a planned rolling blackout, expect about a half-hour power outage, and then the power will come back on. We're not on a 30 minutes off, 30 minutes on. That's pretty extreme. What you probably be looking at right now is half hour off, and then maybe at least hour and a half, 2 hours back on. If you get cycled again, that's less likely. What they'll probably do is they'll probably rotate who's taking the half hour off across the grid, and that's how they'll really start shedding a bunch of that load. We're not in a place where they really need to constantly have a lot off right now. So the situation is not dire right now, but in some areas yesterday they were load shedding, and I got a bunch of emails from a bunch of you folks getting reports on actually having your power shut off. And also, I heard a lot from you guys. I got that too. First Energy in the Pittsburgh area sent me an email saying you need to cut your electricity usage, or else we're going to have to start cutting off people's power. And a lot of you got very similar things, both on natural gas pipelines. So your providers saying stop using as much natural gas, cut your natural gas usage. We need this. And then also your power consumption, cut your power consumption as much as possible. So as long as we can kind of stay where we are, we're not going to be seeing quite so much load shedding, hopefully, but the system is under immense pressure right now. Heat pumps are a lot more efficient. It works more like an air conditioner, but once everyone starts going to electric resistance heating, that's when the power spikes really happen, because electric resistance heating is like a toaster, right? It's very inefficient. It produces a lot of heat, but it uses a lot of electricity to do that, whereas a heat pump is much more efficient. But heat pumps, when they get below 30 degrees, really become a lot less efficient, and that's when your system will transition over to electric resistance heating. And as everyone across the United States is switching over to electric resistance heating, you're not flipping a switch, but your system is. And that is causing a significant spike in demand on electricity. We're also seeing across the board that a lot of wellheads are freezing in of natural gas. Natural gas is not coming out of the ground. We've already suffered a 15% drop in natural gas coming out of the ground. A lot of places, the natural gas coming out of the ground goes rather quickly into a power plant. And those power plants are not getting all the natural gas they need. Now, they have some stored on hand, but some of these places, they don't actually process the natural gas. It comes out of the ground and goes straight into the power plant. And in that case, they need that constant supply of natural gas, and we're seeing a lot of those wellheads are freezing. because the natural gas comes out of the ground. It has some water vapor in there. As it hits that cold pipe, it starts icing up, and then pretty soon you have an ice blockage inside that pipe, and it's blocking all that natural gas, and that natural gas is not coming out. That's a freeze off. And we're seeing 15% of the natural gas production in the United States is frozen in place. 15% drop of natural gas, and a lot of that goes straight to these power plants, and that's where we're seeing a lot of drop-off, a lot of wind drop-off. Of course, we're just seeing this massive spike in demand as well. Natural gas isn't able to ramp up quite as much. We have less coal-fired plants right now picking up the slack. So that's kind of what we're seeing across the United States. A lot of bad choices have been made over the last number of years, over the last decade, and it's coming home to roost. The weather is bad. It is cold. It's the coldest Christmas we've had in a very, very long time. But we've made some really bad choices in the United States power grid. We're also hearing similar things out of Europe, of choices that they're making over their power grid, and they're suffering the consequences over there as well. All right, folks, I hope this video has been useful, helpful to you guys to bring you up to speed on what's going on out there. And thanks so much for watching. If you found this video useful, helpful, you might want to check out this other video from me right here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you later. Stay warm out there for Christmas and the day after Christmas. God bless you all. Steve Poplar out.